Back in the wheelhouse. That is right. I wanted to break down a little bit more film when it comes to 4v4. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at this Black Ops 4 throwback tournament that Hitch held. It was about 5 or 6 days ago by now. We've been looking a lot at Control because we haven't seen that throughout the course of Modern Warfare, and it is rumored, at least it seems like, it will be back once we start Black Ops Cold War. But because of that, I wanted to just go ahead and show you a little bit of the differences that you see when you're playing games like Hardpoint in 4v4, because it is quite a bit different, at least in terms of rotations and roles and how important kills are, than what we've been seeing over the past year in 5v5. So as we hop on board with this one, there is a little bit of a lead. I will say real quick before we get into the actual analysis that this is that tournament where it was Looney, it was Scump, it was Envoy, and it was Mox. So those four played together, and they essentially played a lot of people from the old Minnesota Rocker team in Silly, Exceed, and Assault. Then they also had Vivid on their team. So this is one of the later rounds where they did actually run into 4 other pros from Modern Warfare. We didn't quite see too much of that in the earlier rounds of this Black Ops 4 throwback tournament that Hitch had, but just from what you're seeing right here, one thing that I pick up on right away is just the time to kill, right? When it comes to Black Ops 4, this is a game that had a really long time to kill. Black Ops Cold War is not quite as long as this, but it is closer to this than it is in Modern Warfare. So just kind of keep that in the back of your minds. As we get into the analysis here, I do want to start off, I want to pause this and I want to bring up our mini-map, because what we're seeing so far is that first to second hardpoint rotation. Scump's team, I almost said Chicago. Scump's team did get flipped out of there. So they got this first initial spawn. So they came through the middle. They did a nice job of getting a lead on P1. But as soon as that happened, you'll see that you want to lock down these choke points over here as your enemy team tries to push out from their back spawn to try to push out these back P2 spawns, right? And that's essentially exactly what happened. As this was about to rotate from P1 to P2, we saw Scump lose 2 gun battles back here on the bottom side of their spawn. And once that happened, they were able to push out the back. That spawned Scump's team all the way over here outside of P3. And in games like this, that's really all that it takes. If we're talking about Modern Warfare and some of the sticky squad spawns that we saw in that game, a lot of times if you died right there, you would end up getting basically this spawn right here, right? You would still spawn by the rest of your teammates, but that's not really how Call of Duty worked up and through the Modern Warfare season. And I think you're going to see a lot of that if you're not really used to this. Now, another thing that I will point out is that these maps, a lot of these maps in Black Ops 4, they only had 4 hardpoint rotations. So there were some that had 5, but a lot of them, if they just didn't work out well in terms of the map design, they only had 4 hardpoint rotations. So from P1 to P2, it's really still on the right side of the map. P3 is inside this dojo over here. So that's why you see Scump pushed up. He's trying to get cuts as they rotate from P2 over to P3. That's exactly what that kill is right there. Ooh, nice double out of him. Now that should reset. And you just saw spawns come up in the minimap in the top left-hand corner, which means they're going to be flipped, which means they are giving up map control for P4. Let me go ahead, let me pause this. I know I'm doing this a lot, but there's so much to talk about because we've never broken down these maps before. So as it rotates from P2 to P3, Scump's enemies, so Vivid's team, Assault's team, those guys, were getting this back spawn, which is why they have to rotate through this bottom part of the map, or they have to rotate through mid, which is why you saw Scump pushed up in this courtyard area trying to get these choke points right here. Now, as soon as they got 2 dead, I noticed that Scump's teammates spawned back on this side of the map, which means Assault's team had to have had somebody hitting the flank to come around over towards P3, and the reason why they would do that is because P4 is over here in the top left-hand side of the map. So even though this is a 66 to 41 score game currently, it does seem like they're probably going to end up losing the lead as it goes into the second set of rotations here. That was just a really nice job from Assault's team of hitting their rotations. And again, they're not in position necessarily to get these last 15 seconds inside of P3. But P4 is one that should be really easy to lock down because you either rotate through this part, so this bottom left-hand side of the map, which you see those two arrows if you're looking at the mini-map in the top left-hand corner, that's where you see those two blue arrows going at the moment, or you could hit middle of the map, hit that jump up, and then try to get into P4, but that's something that's not really that easy to do. So, as we're rotating over, again, you can see just how far Scump spawned out right there. Here's the jump up in front of him. We'll see if he tries to hit this. It looks like he will.
One shot back.
So, even with this, you can hit the front, you can hit the back, you can climb up that top window, and at this point in time, it's just a matter of winning your gunfights. And just like that, Mox was able to capture the hardpoint, they were able to get in the back, and they flip spawns again. So, that did have the potential to end up flipping, but again, this is what's so important about 4v4, right? You get a couple kills. We saw Scum get a kill inside the hardpoint. We saw somebody else. I don't know who that second person was that got that kill inside the hardpoint, but Mox hit it from the back. He was able to clean up that last kill, and as soon as that happened, there's nobody else back there to get in from Assault's team, right? They all went 4 down. So since there aren't those sticky squad spawns in this game, they spawned out, they lost spawns, and now as it heads back into the second set of rotations, they've basically got a 50-point lead here, and it's probably only going to grow from here. So as we're about to rotate here from P1 back to P2, look for Scump's squad to start pushing this out again, right? Again, P2, we went through the rotations on the first set of rotations and how on P2 you do want to have that right-hand side of the map, although it looks like they flipped. Again, another great thing is that the mini-map in this is so much bigger, right? Look at the mini-map in the top left-hand corner. You can see so much further away, and what that allows you to do is it allows you to gain more information in terms of where your teammates are coming up off of spawn and where they're at and where they're dying from and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm excited for the mini-map that's coming back in Black Ops Cold War. I'm excited for the spawn system and the rotations that are coming back. And already, we're at a 166-66 ball game. Scump, you can see, has streaks. Streaks are pretty lethal in this game, so it was important to try to stack them, especially if you needed a rotation or to get a couple kills or whatever. But this is a Black Ops 4 throwback. We haven't really listened to this at all, so let's go ahead, let's listen into their team comms and see what they're talking about as they're trying to hold down this rotation from P1 to P2 and eventually over to P3 in this second set of rotations.
Yep. I'm stand up. He's inside.
He's inside.
I'm trying to get with you.
I think in boxes.
Yep.
Nice, we got double.
Nice,
Here,
two.
step.
I'm gonna rotate here, but you guys got this?
No, one more there.
I'm challenging. You want cop bar?
Weak. Behind the cop, Adam.
Let's go new.
He's one shot on the sush.
No, I shouldn't have
I still
jumped,
have
dude.
full
He's one
streaks,
shot
though.
off.
I still have
Exceed
full
is in you.
streaks.
Two on you. Vivid there too. I saw behind them. There's 29 stream, I'm pretty sure.
One there, not here.
Nah, got me. He's a tree. I have full
Alright,
streaks.
I'm gonna hold our lilies.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna hold our
let's go
lilies.
lilies and let's streak together.
You mean to streak this? Okay.
Mid, one shot, Lily. He's in. He's hitting out Lily.
I'm
He
hitting
hit it
lilies
out.
with
He
you.
hit it out.
Lilies with you.
Hostiles have
I spawned
captured
behind
the
them.
Justin weak, right side.
I'm coming up you. I'm coming up you, Dill. I'm coming up you, Dill.
Yeah.
One's mid.
Hold.
Yeah, he's gonna be hold.
Use your streaks.
Alright, I'm using a lightning.
Look at hole.
Alright, one in hill, one's hole, and one showers.
We can start as well.
This shouldn't get anybody here.
Got one in the pinch.
He's absolutely close.
Yeah, they hit me. They hit me there. Door.
Yeah, see, so that's something about a map like this is just with streaks, especially this map where you have so many overpasses, right? There are so many highways going over top of the hill points. You don't really have an opportunity to get too many kills. Most of the time when you see streaks used in maps like this, it's on rotation. So like right here, Scump is trying to hold off this pinch as they rotate from P3 to P4 through this courtyard area. This is where it would be beneficial to use a streak, right? Because if they're back there, they're trying to anchor, they're trying to hold down those spawn rotations. That's when it's probably nice to use a streak. You can get them off of those choke points. You can then push through, push out those back spawns, and regain map position as it rotates out.
One shot, Vivid, close. One's all the way in the back. They spawn back there. Vivid is gonna hit up front. You might pinch ice cream. Vivid.
Yeah, front, Vivid.
Back door,
Nice step. Dead, Bill.
Two top.
Dead.
I'm looking at
Top
your
of mill,
top.
top of
That's
mill.
I'm looking top right.
That kill right there, you can really just see the difference in the time to kill, right? In Modern Warfare, that guy absolutely dies before he's able to run around the corner. Scump still, of course, did get that kill because the time to kill is so long and they didn't have a chance to counter. But that just shows what the time to kill was like in this game compared to what we've been watching in Modern Warfare.
It's huge time if you guys can get it.
Trying to go front again.
I'm looking
Nice,
hole.
Bill Sam. Bill
Come
Sam.
on, top.
I have
Down
real.
the steps, Vivid. Nice, one more back.
Traded.
Nice.
Traded.
We spawn in the back, we flip.
What
I
do
have
I
a
do?
Yo,
hellstorm
you
for
wanna
this.
pinch?
Yeah, I'm in you.
Okay, yeah.
They
Just
spawn in
smoke.
the
Deep street. Deep street.
Probably another one spawn.
I'm looking hole.
Oh, they just
Yeah,
spawned back
yeah,
there. Dead.
Nice, good job. Another one there. Probably.
He's top highway. I'm
Oh.
good. Set up.
Oh, one shot. I'm staying alive.
Yo, they
Hold
can
that
pinch.
challenge.
Behind us, guys. Behind us.
I'm challenging.
Yeah, I'm stunned.
Challenge guy. On
Guys,
weak
guys,
ceiling.
We're good.
I can
Streak,
streak,
good.
I can streak.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, they're still
Looked like Vivid and Assault's team got a nice little split spawn there. As it was towards the end of P4, they had a couple spawn in that back courtyard. They had a couple spawn on the opposite side of the map. And again, this is where these are so dangerous, right? You can get a two-piece in this wide open P1. You only need 20 seconds to end up closing out this game. So you get a two-piece, you get in. You know now that they're spawning on this left-hand side of the map. This should be game over, but let's see if they're able to get this final wave of kills here.
I see on top.
I saw
Got
one.
one.
We went off the
We spawn hole. I'll pick up pole flank.
Full side.
Nice. I have pole flank.
They have to slide in.
Is that armor?
And just like that, there you have it. Unfortunately, again, man, I hate this. When it comes to this scoreboard, you can't see how many kills and how many deaths somebody has, at least from this screen overall. If you're highlighted over Mox, for example, like Scump is right now, it shows it at the bottom. Now his overlay is in the way from his stream, but I just wish that there was a way to show it on the screen so that we could actually see how these guys are performing. But you can see that Scump and Envoy absolutely went off. They basically Scump had 6k damage. They did have pretty similar score, but yeah, I mean, Scump he played super well, frying with that Matic. So with that, guys, if you're new around here, you enjoy this sort of content, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I put out brand new videos like this every single day. So any comments, put them down below. Do you like the change to 4v4? Do you like the pacing a little bit better? Let me know. I'm super interested in what you guys have to say. Leave a like. It helps out the channel. With that, thank you so much. We will see you in tomorrow's upload.